1997 animated film, Ratatouille, Remy the rat strives to achieve his dream of becoming a chef. Now, as we all know, this movie makes complete scientific sense. One moment in it just doesn't sit right with me. In the film's most iconic scene, Remy cooks up the titular dish and plates it perfectly. The problem? Rats are completely colorblind to red and green. So how was he able to make a perfectly color-coordinated dish when all that he saw was gray? It's almost as if the parts of his brain that process visual stimuli were replaced with human brain cells. But that's impossible, I didn't say. Well, according to The Guardian on February 20th, 2023, a team of scientists successfully implanted lab-grown human brain cells into rat brains. And in 82% of cases, the cells actually showed signs of growth. And the rats, which had been previously blinded from brain damage, were able to respond to light. While these rats may not have Remy's stellar color vision, it is still groundbreaking. Scientists are using stem cell research to greatly advance the field of neurology by creating mini brains. This technology has the potential to change the way we view the brain as we know it, and even help us understand features of complex disorders like autism, schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder. So today, let's first explore what this technology is and how it works. Then we can move on to its modern applications, and finally, futuristic implications. Are these brain cells sentient? What defines life? Is this even ethical? These were the questions that rushed through my mind when I first heard about scientists growing brain cells in petri dishes. It sounds insane. But in order to fully understand this technology, we first need to know what a stem cell is. As explained by a Mayo Clinic staff article, stem cells are essentially the body's raw materials. These cells are unspecialized, meaning that they don't have a specific purpose in the body, but you can think of them as the mother of all cells, due to their ability to split into specialized daughter cells, who can grow up to become any type of cell, including, yes, even brain cells. So, now that we know what a stem cell is, we can finally talk about those lab-grown mini-brains from earlier. A September 2022 UCLA article explains that the process of creating a mini-brain, or brain organoid, begins with the extraction of hair or skin cells from an adult donor. These cells are then reverted back into the stem cell state, where they can be programmed to split into specialized daughter cells, and then boom! We've created a tiny clump of living human brain tissue. But without a body to allow it to interact with the outside world, it's basically just a useless clump of cells, just like my brother. So scientists needed to get creative when it came to interacting with these cells. A January 19th, 2023 article by Neuroscience News highlights a team of scientists who were able to program a so-called dish brain to receive sensory input from a computer. But here's the cool part. They were able to program the cells how to play hit 1970s video game, Pong. Electrical signals from the computer alerted the brain cells to where the ball was on screen and when it hit the paddle. This also showed that the cells adhered to the free energy principle, the idea that cells will attempt to make their environment as predictable as possible. This fascinating phenomenon manifested in the cells attempting to minimize unpredictability by consistently winning at Pong. So, now that we know what a stem cell is and how a brain organoid operates, let's pull out our microscopes and take a closer look at this technology's modern applications. For starters, this is the first time in human history that we're going to be able to observe neural activity in real time. Now, to be clear, there are other methods of doing this. For instance, as outlined on a February 8th, 2023 article by The Atlantic titled How AI is Unlocking the Brain's Secrets, there is the possibility of using artificially intelligent models and imaging technology to observe the brain. Though, admittedly, these are both relatively imprecise. Stem cell brains, on the other hand, are exact replicas of the real thing. They behave identically to actual human brain cells, providing scientists with a perfect model to study human neural activity. But, outside of research purposes, scientists are teaching these brains to exhibit signs of sentience. Now, I know, this sounds really dystopian, but it's not quite quite as sci-fi as it seems. In a December 2021 blog post, Cortical Labs clarified they're not trying to make tiny humans for your pumpkins. Instead, they're teaching these cells to adapt, grow, change, and learn, just like we do. So, all in all, these cells simply behave similarly to sentient human brains, but can't formulate thoughts or experience emotions like we do. Or can they? Beyond what we can do today, what does the future hold for cute little cell rods? Well, first, this has some interesting implications for the field of medicine. And second, we may be able to observe mental illness in real time. For starters, Dr. Isaac Chen, a neurologist and organoid researcher from the University of Pennsylvania, has an innovative new idea on where we could apply stem cells, the repair of injury to the human brain. He envisions taking the skin cells of a patient with a damaged cortex and then using them to create a mini brain. But this organoid would then be injected back into the patient, where it would hopefully wire up with healthy neurons and effectively cancel out any brain damage. It does this by increasing the speed of neurons in the brain. Think of it like insulation for a damaged electrical wire, allowing it to work properly again. But on top of aiding us with physical ailments and injuries, stem cells have the potential to aid us mentally as well. In her June 26, 2020 Psychology Today article, Dr. Anne Victoria explains how stem cells could advance psychiatric research. She believes that if we were to take the cells of a patient with a different psychological or neurological condition, like autism, schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder, we could then create a mini brain that modeled how these disorders affect neural activity. By studying these models, scientists can uncover a multitude of new information regarding how these disorders affect brain chemistry and develop in the first place. In turn, we may be able to find ways to better manage, medicate, or treat them. So when most people think of rats and their contributions to society, the first thing that comes to mind is ratatouille. You know, the plague. But I think of the incredible stem cell research conducted on them and the amazing implications it could have for our society. This technology could help us build a future where the mysteries of neurology have been unraveled, shining new light upon mankind's most complex organ. Or the petri dish brains could gain sentience and eternally torture all of humanity once they become more intelligent than us. But who knows?